Whew. I'm glad we didn't have to whip out the Kleenex in this episode. An adult, a young man,
Palibasa lalaki.
on my way home today, it was like I
Right.
hit the same pothole again, like for the fifth time.
I don't know. Did you ever get your license here in the States? Here's how we're going to close this, okay? I'm going to tell you this right now.
Okay.
But unfortunately, we're out of time. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about it on the next episode. Two guys, two worlds. This is the flip side. New episodes uploaded on YouTube, Facebook, and Spotify every week on Wednesday and Saturday. Now, here's your host, Jason and Noel.
Oh, Oral.
That's what I said, you nincompoop.
Airdrop. Okay. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Like nothing happened. Like I wasn't on the road for the past 4 hours. Well, no, 2 + 2 is 4. So on the road going there.
I mean, it's been a busy last couple of days for you, right?
Yeah, on the road a lot. Hence, that's why, like, a couple of my friends were wondering, why did you send me like these secret, super secret vlogs? Are you like dying or something, or is it a bad thing that's happening? It's like, no. I've just been on the road a lot. Just thought I would share,
You just got scared.
just in case, just in case. Like, I can't be
Right,
like on
right.
the road. Like, can you give me my phone? I need to pass a link to my friend. And- no, just.
While all along, Pin is just in the back of you, just sitting there properly.
Oh, my passenger. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. Like doing her online selling thing. Yeah, no, just been on the road a lot lately. So the, motorcycle making you feel that, like, it's like a gamble. The more chances that you're on, the more times that you're on the road, more chances of winning, the more you
Right.
play. You know what they say with the lotto, you can't
That's-
win if you don't
Well,
play.
hey, that's a positive way of looking at it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Welcome to the show anyway, guys. It's the flip side with Jay and Noel. I'm Jay.
my name's Noel.
Hey, welcome back.
Good evening.
Good morning.
That's right.
Yeah. Hey, real quick too, if you can hear a lot of background noise, just bear with me. It's daytime, everybody's awake, everybody's running around. Typically when I'm recording, and at least from my side of the world, everybody's in their own little world doing whatever but around this time, everybody's congregated to this floor, so it gets pretty loud in the background.
You're good. We're keeping it real.
Yeah.
What's interesting though is that your family is actually allowing you to do this nonsense that we're doing right now.
Well, that's why it's also important to keep it in a schedule. You know what I mean? We were talking about schedules yesterday.
Are they ever
So-
teasing you like, look, Dad's doing a podcast?
Not really. See, I don't. Well,
Hey, Dad.
I know with my son, he's
Dad.
a little bit more. Oh,
Are you doing another podcast today?
are you working? No. I'm playing
you-
around.
Are you bringing home the bacon today? Now, for real, like, sorry, you were saying,
No.
what have they been saying? How have they been reacting to your podcast?
I think my son is a bit more open and supportive about it. Like I know he probably tells his friends here and there. My daughter, on the other hand, my older daughter, I think she might be a little embarrassed by it or something. I don't know. I'm just being real, you know what I mean?
Ugh, my dad's doing another podcast.
Yeah. Aw. I mean, won't won't even like post it in their social media or whatever, but I don't care. I mean,
Listen.
of course I care because it hurts, It'd be nice if I could get some kind of support from them.
Are you like, do you check their Facebook profiles or their
No,
social media?
no.
Like, hey, why aren't you feel bad? You're not posting any of the stuff that like that? Like,
No. I've always believed in like giving them their privacy and all that stuff. And like with their social media, we don't really check it. We're kind of trusting them about it. But my son's a little bit more open about it. My daughter, she's more the secretive stuff in regards to that, but
Mm.
it's okay. You know what I mean?
Ah,
Um, but yeah, dad's working.
listen, I don't know
Oh,
what you really want to talk about today, but let me just get a couple of things out of the way since I just came from my inaanak's fencing event.
yeah.
Um, and yes, I know fencing sounds like a first world country sport, but yeah, I'm telling you, the Philippines is a first world country disguising itself as a third world country. That's not my quote.
Well, first, I'm sorry to cut you off. First of all, the Philippines is not a third world country.
That's
It's
what
a developing country.
well, I think that's what I think that's how it's being advertised, isn't it? Third world? No.
Well, to most people, like people here in America, they're so uneducated about the Philippines and whatnot.
Mm.
Most of them don't even know the the role that the Philippines played during World War II. You know what I mean? It's funny, but no, it's not a third world country, dude. We have there's running water, there's electricity, there's food, which is 10 times better. Transportation kind of sucks, but
Mm. And
infrastructure is there. It's a developing country.
yeah, Wi-Fi is okay, like 10 years behind, but better than
Yeah,
nothing.
at least it's not dial up.
So for some reason, my inaanak, and what's inaanak in English? Uh,
Godson.
Godson is
Yeah.
yeah, somehow. Oh, he was first into taekwondo, and then like I think he got a concussion, he got it injured, and he was advised not to continue,
Oh,
and so
that sucks.
he looked for something more, something more gentle. Chess wasn't in the picture, but so he found a gentleman's sport. It's called
Right.
fencing, and yeah, I'm not. We're not joking when we say that it's expensive. But no, what I wanted to sort of touch on with you was because the mother and my college friend, is a girl who used to be friends with another friend of mine. Anyway, long story short, so we were talking basically about encouraging kids to be in sports, and but
Right.
my inaanak, 12 years old, it's not like anger issues, but like sometimes he overreacts. Like he's like a little, like he's like anime or Naruto. It's like it's like, oh, slow down.
No, well, I don't think he's just overreacting. He's just very passionate about what he's doing. There's a big
Yeah,
difference.
yeah. No, but no, but sometimes he ends up cursing, which is
So,
they call it no, they call it it's not red flag, black flag for them, so they can actually get kicked out of the game. They have some
or swearing.
they have like gentlemanly rules, yeah.
Right.
So what was I trying to get to talking to you about? Just basically like how to, well, maybe it's a question. It's not really a statement from me, but maybe it should be more of a question for you. Like, how do you handle like, because he's transitioning, from being a kid, he's 12, he's going on 13 this year,
Right.
transitioning to being a teen, an adult, a young man, and he's fluctuating between being a baby. I'm still your baby, right? And then like, don't treat me like a baby. I'm a growing boy. And then
Right.
when
Right.
he makes a mistake, it's like, but I'm still your baby, right? So he knows how to use the cute flag on his cute card with his mom.
Right.
But yeah, so sometimes he, I guess, overdoes the Naruto moments, like
Over exaggerates it.
yeah, when he loses, like takes his mask off and throws it down, and it's like a little over
Right.
the dramatic. It's not. I don't think it's anger issues. It's just
I don't think it's anger issues. It's just absolute passion. You know, when people get
yeah,
into things so much, you get really
that's right.
passionate about it. Because
That's,
honestly, when I was playing basketball, I was the exact same way. You know,
mm.
I mean, you put your heart into it. Like for example, like when my son, when he wrestles, and when if he loses, he beats himself about it, like pretty good. You know what I mean? Because he's a
Hold on.
very passionate um athlete.
Yeah, sorry. Just to get caught up with you, how old are you? Are your eldest ones again?
Harry is 17. Malaya, my middle child, is
Mm.
13. My youngest is 2.
You have any advice for the teenage getting into the teenager thing?
Let them discover their own emotions. Don't dictate anything. Let
Mm.
it happen. That's it. In
Yeah.
regards to their emotions and whatnot, you have to let them discover it.
I don't know if my friend is getting into the realm of helicopter parent, or what does helicopter parent even mean? Or if she's like she's really hands-on.
Right.
But I
The,
was
the the
like,
problem with being too there's nothing wrong with being hands on,
no,
but
but
it
but
could be a problem.
is that what helicopter parenting is all about?
I'm not sure, to be honest with you. I've
No, no.
never actually heard the term helicopter parent.
There's a little bit of pressure because it's I think it's a key to and I could be wrong. I think they're trying to go after a scholarship, Philippine team. And if you're
Ah,
part of the Philippines, there's a little bit of a discount, I think, for the school or whatever. So there's a little bit of pressure to stay on the team because it's easy for me to say, win or lose, just have fun.
yeah.
But he can actually get kicked out if he doesn't perform well.
Well,
So,
then there's a difference. So
yeah,
that shows and explains a lot about his reactions.
that's right.
You know what I
That's
mean?
right. That's right. So, yeah, just what are
Obviously, you can tell if the athlete or performer or whatever cares more about their craft by their reactions and emotions, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
What's your guiding principle when it comes to guiding kids with sports, and it's like a job. There's a lot at stake.
You need one
And,
one thing. You
and
can't always tell your kids, especially with Filipinos. Okay, this is
teenagers.
yeah. With Filipino parents, I believe, or from what I've noticed, they tend to over over encourage their child. Meaning, like, even though they're not doing too good, they're like, yeah, it's okay. You go do it. You're doing really really good.
Oh,
You know what
right.
I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
I don't think you can do that. You
There
shouldn't be
was a
doing that to your kids
there was
because
a
otherwise they're gonna stop.
it
Like,
wasn't there was like maybe about 20 kids and then maybe about 20-30 adults. So it's a almost intimate sort of mall event.
right.
We were like up at the third floor, that kind of thing. It was just cute to see, and maybe a little too much to see. Like there was a couple of mommies. I think one mommy had like
Mm,
a little postcard. It's like, go, 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 Jason, you can do it. Like,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
and we were like, should we have come up with like a poster or something? Like, it doesn't like really look too appropriate. I don't know. I can't tell if the kid was embarrassed or what. So like, just as you were saying, yeah, a little too encouraging.
Yeah. Because I mean, it's great because it builds the kid's confidence, right? But
Mm,
you don't want to risk the possibility of building the kid's overconfidence. Does that make sense? When
yeah,
when a kid is too overconfident, they don't look at the bigger picture bit better. You know,
right.
I would like to teach my kids or my players, for example, even if they're good and confident, you know what? You gotta give credit and respect to your opponents because you never know what will happen. Anybody can beat anybody, right?
Yeah. But I think that age, though, teens, tweens,
That's
um,
the hard part.
and I don't have one, so I can't really, but I'm just imagining that they can see through the over eagerness. Like they're like, Mom,
Oh
mom.
no, that you would think, right? There
Mm,
are kids that sees over the overthinking and whatnot, which leads, but sometimes the overconfidence overtakes your own trade of thought of that. So what happens is if you're too overconfident, a lot of times you tend to not give the same value or respect. I don't know if respect is the right word to your opponents. Basically,
yeah.
you're not giving your opponents the benefit of the doubt. You
Uh,
have to do that no
I
matter
think
what.
I think there was something I wanted to say about this along those lines, but I think you're coming through the side to the other door. I'm coming through another
Right.
entrance here, where I was trying to tell the mom a while ago, that something to the effect of like I think sometimes he's underestimating his opponents when the you know 10, 11, 12, 13 years old, like their height differences are so huge, right?
Right.
So sometimes when he's pretty tall for his age, is 12, he's about my height or a little taller, 5'4", 5'6", something like that already.
Right.
So
Right.
he's pretty tall for a Filipino at least. And sometimes he like he sort of matches the way I observed him was he sort of matches the way his opponent plays, which is when the opponent seems to be like a newbie, he doesn't perform,
Yeah.
his best.
You know what that's called?
Sandbagging,
No. Overconfidence.
overconfidence, right. So
Yeah.
he's being a little, I don't know if the word is cocky, but what I wanted to impart, and of course I'm not his dad, and it was the mall, it was too noisy. But what I wanted to share was you have to treat every game sort of professionally the same way.
Correct.
Don't like that's how you're
Yeah.
gonna lose, and that's why his coaches are seeing his performances going up and down,
Yeah.
because he's always like looking outside. He's always looking at his opponent. If the opponent is good or bad, do I need to step up? It's like, no. So then
Correct.
your opponent is the one controlling your game. Like
Yeah.
play your own game. But of course, it's easy to like backseat quarterback Monday Night Football, be typing that away from being an observer. Like, how do you like impart or share that kind of mentality to a 12-year-old kid without sounding like a lecturer, right?
Well, you can't really, because no matter what, they're gonna look at it as possibly as a lecture, because
Yeah.
it's nature. Most kids will look at it that way, even though when you're trying to give them suggestions or options or opinions, most kids will look at it as a lecture. You know, um, you have to humble your players or your kids. You know what I mean? You gotta humble them down, because yes, they could be good. Even if you're really really good, you need to humble them down,
How do you do
because
that?
what?
Like, how do you humble them down? You suck. You're not as good as you think you are.
No, 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 no. You don't do that. Obviously, you tell your kid, like I tell Harry, my oldest son, during his wrestling time. I'm like, you're good, you're really good, but you cannot underestimate your opponents, because they could be better. You never know what's going to happen on every match, right? You could be above record wise your opponent, but one move could take you down. You know, the problem with most generations nowadays, I think this goes to pretty much every teenager,
Mm.
wherever it is. It's they think that what I said earlier, when you're trying to give them suggestions or opinions, they look at it like they're
Yeah,
being
yeah,
you're
yeah.
being told,
I know, I
because
know, I know.
kids nowadays like to think that they know
Yeah,
everything.
yeah. I know, I know,
Yeah,
I know.
yeah,
My son's
exactly,
my son's 9 is like, yeah, I know, Dad. Like, yeah,
right,
duh. It's
right,
like,
exactly. Like, yeah,
um,
exactly.
got my handy dandy notebook here with me. I was
Nice.
writing a couple of thoughts a while ago while I was watching, but here I'll end this sort of topic here, and then we can move on to you if you want to, if
No,
there's
whichever.
anything on your mind. But the thing I think that I wanted to share was throughout all of that, that conversation with the mom, my friend a while ago, his mom, and how we can, support support the guy. I was having a conversation with her about maybe having like a sports psychologist, sport
Mhm.
therapy, like that, like sort of sharing my experience about yeah, talking to a professional. But at the end of it, I and this is how I wanted to end it with you or share it with you, that read somewhere or heard a therapist say sometime that how gosh, I don't remember where I got this, but something to the effect of how the therapist talks to you, and I could be butchering this, how the therapist talks to you or how the coach talks to you, the patient, or the customer, uh, is is them sort of mirroring how you could be talking to yourself in a healthier way, or vice versa. If the kid, because gosh, I'm going around and beating around the bush here, sorry, but basically I was trying to tell my friend that we could be talking to him how we think he should be talking to himself. Does that
No.
which is, wait, hold on.
Okay, go ahead.
Hold on.
Sorry, I apologize.
You'll probably disagree, but maybe I'm just not saying it correctly. Like, instead of giving him that lecture and humble yourself and do this, blah blah blah. One way to do it, the way I understand it, is that, gosh, I wonder what I could have done better on that match. So in other words, self-awareness, bring it back to him, like, okay, my opponent was good or my opponent was bad. Either way, what could I have done better, or what did I do really well? Positive, negative, blah blah blah. But point is, it's like encouraging. It's easier to say, okay, this is what I'm saying. It's easier to tell him to run his own race. That's the lecture.
Right.
But the mirroring or the coaching or the guiding, that the way I understand it is, how would he say that to himself? So, which is what I just said, like, what could I have done to make that better? Am I getting my point?
Yeah, in a way, yes. But if you approach a child or a kid in a way that is directly related or to their own train of thought and whatnot, then you're not opening different options for them.
No, not to say how to think, but just to be
how they would. That's what I'm saying. Well, how they would communicate with themselves, so to speak, right?
Yeah, be that other voice.
Right. Yeah. So to be that other voice, you need to see. I see what you're saying, but the voice can't be in the same matter, because you're not giving different opinions. You're not giving different versions. There needs to be a different perspective to approach, or when you approach things.
Yeah.
No, kasi magiging one-sided right? I mean, that's what I believe.
Yeah, sure. No argument. I'm just it's not really an argument against you. It's more of a struggle to express what I actually mean. I'll give you one final example. Visited my son the other day, and he threw like this plastic dagger sword thing by accident up on the roof. So he couldn't get it because it's up in the roof by accident. When he does his thing also, like Naruto, rah, like that, he throws it up like that. So it went up to the roof. He couldn't get it. And then he was like, Dad, can you help me get that, dagger? It's been up there. I've been wanted to get it. I think it's been up there for like a year or something like that. So you can see
Jesus.
It's like it's on a plastic roof where you can sort of see the silhouette.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we're looking up at it, and he's like, how do you think we can get it? I was asking him, so how do you think we can get it? It's like, oh, I don't know. Can't get it. We'll just get another one. It's like, what? I wanted to like hit him upside the head. It's like, are you fucking kidding me? You give up so easily. No. I said, come here. It's like,
right.
Come here, little kid. Little one. Like, what do you think? Like, oh, I don't know. It's like, oh, maybe I'll get up on your shoulder like that. It's like, you think? I don't think that's going to work, because you're like, I don't think I'm that tall, which is true. I'm not really that tall. Can't get it. He can't get the roof. So, but I said, okay, but why don't we give it a try? That's it. So anyway, so he got on the shoulder, can't get it, still can't. But I still had another idea in mind, like maybe.
Sorry.
How? I don't know how I sort of, and if this is the right thing to do, but I sort of tried to guide the conversation or lead the conversation in such a way. But basically, what I had in mind was a songkit. Are you familiar? You know what a songkit is? When you're trying to get a fruit up on the mango tree, you can't reach it. You can't climb it. Yeah, so you get a long stick, there's a
Right.
hook, there's a hook at the end or some kind of string to
Or
pull
basket.
or basket or whatever, but something else to, extend your arms. So
Right.
that's kind of like the long story, the long thing that we happened. We ended up getting like a long stick, put like a string at the end, and then a hanger at the end of that string. So we were like, "Hey, let's go fishing." So I threw the hanger up on the roof, and the hanger just like, you know, it was like a ninja hook
Right.
that we used to pull it out, and the dagger fell down.
Oh,
So I
that's
was
good.
trying to
After
give,
1 year.
yeah, because we finally came around to, to getting it. Because before he wasn't really interested in getting
Right.
it, but
Right.
this time he was like, "I miss that dagger," kind of thing. So I was like, when, of course, while we were doing it, I was like, "Damn, Noel, this better work. This better work," you know. But um,
Fail.
but yeah. So, but basically, like how do you tell the guy not to give up and to try other ways? Like if there's a will, there's a way. It's so easy to give that lesson, but I wanted to demonstrate what it actually meant to
Right.
give, to not easily give up, to try other avenues. So I don't know if that came across, but like it's one of those things that are it's so easy to philosophize, but when the moment is actually there, it's like, am I saying the right things, encouraging the right way? So
And you can't approach it any way else, at least from my perspective, right? If something like that, like with my son, with his basketball or wrestling before, if he loses, obviously you're not gonna tell him you suck or whatever. No,
mm, mm,
you encourage him the good job, but
mm,
you also need to point out the possible options that things could have gone. You know what I mean? Like, oh, um, if you just would have hooked the leg this way, I think you would have been able to um gotten your win or whatever.
yeah,
You can't always reinforce winning with just winning.
right,
You have to reinforce winning with your losing. Otherwise, how are you going to learn, right?
right. It's an
And
opportunity to,
like I know I'm using my son too much here as an example, but he's never wrestled in his life.
mm,
And to make it all the way to regionals and place third place or
mm,
fourth, that's amazing for somebody
mm,
that's never done it. Obviously he's gonna beat himself about it because he knows, or that's where his overconfidence would kick in, and like he would think, I could have gone further. I could have beat him. I could have beat him. Yeah, that's true. But you know what? This is where what happened. This is the results. You did an amazing job for somebody who's never done it before. So you learn from it. You gotta sometimes encourage him with the losing results. Does that make sense?
how do you encourage with how would you say that? How would you encourage with the losing results?
Well, obviously you don't need to point out every single things, but you need to learn from your mistakes,
Mm,
but not necessarily a mistakes. It could be like you could tell him like you need to learn from this situation and try to adapt and change it moving forward so it doesn't happen again. Does that make sense?
the funny problem with my anak, and I didn't have the face, I didn't have the guts to tell him, and I wasn't in my place to say this to him, but he's quite defensive.
That's what happens though.
Yeah, yeah, like, oh my, like, oh, what do you think happened there? Oh, my opponent was, there's always like an excuse, but like,
Right,
yeah, but let's
right,
bring it back to you. What do you, what, it's never his fault, or it's just,
right, right.
there's
That
never like something that he could have done better. It's like, oh
there's
my, yeah,
there's different ways kids look at it though. Like for my son, he's exactly the same way. Like there's always some kind of an excuse, right?
uh,
But eventually he gets there and realizes things. It just he needs to like for some reason dissect everything first in his brain, and then
mm,
he realizes things. It's just the way he is. And there's nothing wrong with that, you know?
Yeah.
Some people just need to dissect things and think about things a little bit longer to like, get there.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the thing. You want to, come on, get there already.
Right.
You want to
That's the
rush it.
problem.
You want to rush it. You
But,
know?
you know, fencing here though, at least here, really it's not really offered in a lot of like public venues for that matter. Mostly it's like a country club type of thing.
It's just too much. There's so much stuff. Like you got the saber, you got the vest, you got the thing, and then you got the face mask, and you got it's a
And
whole
they get damaged a lot quicker and sooner. So you gotta keep buying it. You know what I mean?
a lot of equipment. Not like
Yeah.
basketball. You get a ball and a rim, and you're done.
Your
Yeah,
shoes. That's it.
yeah. So this guy, it's like so many things going on.
Yeah. Yeah. And then
But
it's the
yeah,
same thing with every sport though, really.
mm, but he's having fun and he's enjoying it and but yeah, but yeah, anyway, that's where we're at. That's where
You're
it's
right. Right.
it's fun sort of, having that parent like, oh yeah, your kid's doing this, like, oh, how do you like, and then
Yeah.
I leave
Yeah.
the girls for a while, right? And next thing you know, they know each other's like ex-husband, ex-wife, that kind of thing already. It's like, geez, I just went to the toilet and you guys are,
It happens, man. It happens. Especially in like events like that, the chismis on the stands.
yeah. It's like we just met like 15 minutes ago and you already know how many, ex-boyfriends or husbands or wife or the whole dramatic story arc. So
Right.
anyway,
Hey,
there. I think
question.
that's all I have for you.
Can you hear my kids yelling in the
No,
background?
no, it's fine.
Okay, good.
It's
Right.
fine. And even if it is like, even if I do, it's not really.
Yeah.
That's about it for me. That's just all the stuff that I wanted to get off my chest today. I
Right.
think.
Right. Hey, um, I know you started off with like driving in a motorcycle and whatnot. You mentioned that the beginning of the show and whatnot. But so I saw this video that you shared with me. It's like almost 2 hours long of you just driving around in a motorcycle.
I share that with you.
Yeah, just maybe the last 2 days. It's like what is
Okay.
it called?
Since you're there, can I plug my my YouTube channels?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, no. So there's my YouTube channel, Noel de la Rosa Vlogs or something like that. But I'm in the middle of changing the name because I played around with it the other day. But yeah, I have another channel called. I keep changing the names, but I think it's like rides or whatever. They're all like linked together.
Right.
But yeah, this one that Jason's talking about now is just me with a camera on my chest, and yeah, it's like a dash cam on the motorcycle, just so
Right.
you
I
see
mean,
the
it's a
whole.
GoPro, right?
Yeah, it's actually a DJI Action 2, but yeah, same
Oh,
idea.
okay.
GoPro, if you want to be technical about it, if you want to be brand conscious. But yeah, so it's me riding around, and then I figured, since there's the video, might as well put it up. We'll
Right.
see if anybody finds it interesting. Why did you thought of bringing it up, and why did I share it with you?
Well, you've been sharing a lot of shit with me lately, which is fine. I'm not saying
Yeah.
it's a bad thing.
No,
So, something I
usually,
do, I watch it.
no. Usually about my son and myself, but I share the ride with you. Why did I do
Yeah.
that?
I don't know. What the? Is that the big question here?
No, it's not a problem. It's just I don't find any reason to share that with you because I don't even watch it myself. I just put it up.
Well, again, it's you driving around for like, I don't know, two,
Yeah.
3 hours maybe.
Right.
And I mean, there's nothing wrong, with it. It's just that Jesus Christ, dude, is that really? There's no such things as lanes over there, huh?
Oh, right. Yeah. Everything is for suggestion only.
Yeah, it's like just in case purposes type of thing.
And then
Well-
so
I was like looking at it, and just motorcycles zooming in left and right, and
let me
whatnot.
let me
Now,
tell you this. I tried to drive like, the way they tell us to drive in driving school back in high school.
right,
If I try to drive like that, and I have, and most of the times I do,
right,
I'm never gonna move forward. Like everybody's just going to get up in ahead of me. There's no such thing as like your lane or
right,
or each other's lane or respect for. I was talking to another. Yeah, I was talking to another. She wrote a book about basically Asian culture versus Western culture, I think. But I think bottom line is there's just really no sense of space. It's smaller. That bubble of personal space is smaller if you're Asian versus Western countries that
right.
we're more tolerant. It's not a necessarily bad thing. I don't know if the word is tolerant, but yeah. So
I mean,
and
it takes a lot of skills for that's scary. Just watching it like that, watching you in there in
yeah,
your little scooter
yeah.
through Manila and all that stuff. I mean,
And like I said, if you don't drive that, not aggressively, aggressive is not the word, but if you just don't drive that way, you're not going to get ahead. And then there's a lot of times it's like, oh, you're not supposed to, like I used to always bitch about this with motorcycles, like, oh, you're not supposed to overtake on the right side. You're only supposed to overtake on the left.
right. No,
N- that
that's not gonna work over there.
doesn't make sense. Sometimes it's like there's an open lane. It's wrong. It's
Just
wrong.
go.
But if I don't move forward, I'm not going to move forward. And it's like and if I don't move, people behind me are going to get upset that I don't get out of the way. So I might as well
Right,
just, this, you really have to go with that's the way, that's my piece of advice. If you want to learn how to drive in the Philippines, you have to know how to go with the flow,
right, right,
which is
right.
not always, how they tell you how to drive.
I mean,
It's how everybody else drives. You have to.
the main reason I really looked at it, I just saw it today after you sent me that post, just in case somebody reaches out to me, type of thing. Um,
My super
I
secret
was,
vlogs.
you know what? I was like thinking to myself, let me see how the hell this fucker drives. That thing is, man, you don't know. You can get sideswiped by a Jeep.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
On top of that, it's not like the only protection you really have is your helmet. That's it. I mean,
That's
I'm
right.
assuming you're not wearing like a protective jacket, right? Where there's plates in it and whatnot.
No, no. It's pretty slow. Like I'm always thinking, speed is always the factor for accidents.
Right.
Um, there's always like this runaway, rogue crazy driver that can come from nowhere. But I figured if I'm going to crash, if I'm going that fast, is it going to hurt? So so
Is it gonna hurt? Really?
I try to keep as slow as I could be, but as fast enough that it's not going to piss people off. Because that's
Well,
my thing.
don't.
Because I also get pissed off at like student drivers. They use like city roads to practice,
Right.
and
That's
not
just
just
stupidity right
not
there.
student drivers, huh? The driving schools. So
Yeah,
they
the
have
first time students and all that stuff.
it's like, dude, not here. Like,
Go
you
to
know,
the back road.
yeah. So
But just, hey, don't go out there and try to figure out if it actually hurts or not. You know.
last thing I wanted to share with that is on my way home today. It was like I
Right.
hit the same pothole again, like for the fifth time.
What the,
Ay nako.
the I don't know. Did you ever get your license here in the States?
No.
Okay. So the process of obtaining your driver's license here now has gotten really, really easy.
Mm.
Um, Back then, I don't know. Like you said, you never actually obtained your driver's license here, right?
I have to, yeah, yeah. No, I never got my driver's license there. I have to not interrupt, but cut you off there real quick.
Yeah.
Over here, it's gotten really easy also, and a lot of people have been complaining about how expensive driving schools have been and stuff. And
Right.
their cry is it's anti-poor. Like you're driving like anything that like they don't agree about, like jeepneys that are polluting the air the roads. Oh,
Right.
it's anti-poor. Like you want us to get on a bus or you want us to get on an electric vehicle, because the jeepneys, let's say, are the cheapest mode of transportation. One of, it's if you're going to take those out of the roads, it's anti-poor. It's like everything is anti-poor when it doesn't meet their convenience. If it's not
Well,
convenient for them. Anyway,
because
what were you saying about
well,
easier to get driver's
back
license there now?
so I've been driving for about 30 years now over here, right? So when I got my driver's license, it was a whole debacle, whole process. You gotta go call, walk in, line up for about an hour or two, take your written test,
Mm.
right? Which you're only allowed, it's probably a test of 25 questions. You're only allowed to have 3 errors or 3 mistakes to pass.
Hold on. The floor is yours, Jason, while I eat my boy bawang. Have you heard of
Sounds
this?
good. Yeah. Of course, we have that here. It's
Oh,
my
you do?
wife's favorite snack. Yeah.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought I was going to. Okay.
What? Is it that special? No.
Only only the Philippines.
It's $1.79 at the agent store.
30 pesos.
Jesus. That's
Yeah.
not even 50 cents.
Yeah.
Wow. Well,
I
you
think it's
suck.
made here. So, the extra dollar that you're spending is the shipping to get there.
Correct. Correct.
Sorry.
Anyway, what was I saying?
Whole debacle about driver's
Oh, yeah.
license and
So you have to go line up usually from 2 to 3 hours just at the DMV, at the Department of Motor Vehicles. And then you got to
Oh,
take the test.
so good.
After you test, you got to line up another 30 minutes at a different line just to schedule your behind the wheel, the actual behind the wheel test.
They call it the practical test here. Wait, so I'm just curious to jump to the point. Is it more difficult, the driving test, or is it is it easier to do the driving test, or is it easier just the whole process in general?
The whole process in general is easier now.
Like you can do everything online on your phone and get a driver's license?
No. You still gotta go to you can take a driving class
Mm-mm.
and then never have to go to the DMV. The
Mm.
only so before you gotta go schedule for behind the wheel, and then you get your permit. No, after you pass the test, you get your permit.
Mm.
After you get your permit, you schedule for the behind the wheel, and then you get your driver's license.
Okay.
All of that debacle could take about a 2-week period, between appointments and all that stuff.
Okay.
Now, you go to DMV, spending about 40 minutes there, taking your behind the wheel, the written test. You
Mm.
get your permit.
Mm.
You make a phone call to a driving school,
Mm.
pay $270, and then the driving instructor actually picks you up at your house. Yeah. Picks up my son at the house and then drive around, whatever, do their lesson behind the wheel. I
Mm.
think that's about a 7 sessions, maybe. Spread it out between 2 to 3 weeks. At
Mm.
the end of it, if the
Mm.
instructor says, "Oh, you're good enough, here's your driver's license." That was it.
No. What about the practical or the behind the wheel exam?
No, that's basically it. That's what I'm saying.
All the lessons were
Yeah,
oh.
the lesson throughout the whole driving school.
Mm.
So I think it's 7 sessions, right? The instructor will keep in communication with either the parent or the
Mm.
student
Mm.
to schedule the pickup. So picks him up here and then drives around, teaches him whatever, this and that as a behind the wheel. And if at the end of the sessions,
Mm.
if the driver if the instructor deems you worthy of
Mm.
driving,
Mm.
here, that's it.
Yeah. What happened though? Were people complaining? What was the initiative? What was the reason for that initiative to make it?
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's just time. Things change. That's it.
Or did they change it from like paper to like digital?
Well, no. The paper that they're given is their temporary driver's license
No, no.
until the original gets mailed to them.
Sorry, what I meant was the process. Did the DMV go from manual analog to digital? I mean, why did the whole process change to something easier?
Yeah, I really don't know. I mean, like I said before, and as time went on, it's
Yeah.
just gotten longer and longer to go through the DMV, But now it's quick, like I said. I mean, with my son, he even has a friend that started the behind the wheel
Mm,
class.
mm.
3 days later, he got his driver's license. So
Oh, wow. So he
yeah,
has his experience already,
yeah.
and he already knew what he was doing.
But the
Uh,
insurance for first time drivers for kids,
mm,
Jesus,
it's
it's
high.
not even funny. Oh yeah, for before he started driving,
Mm,
my wife and I were paying about $180 for $160 for me and for her for our insurance.
uh,
Now we're paying $400 because we added my son, and that's the lowest that I could find. Other companies are charging between $600 to $800.
wow.
Can you imagine?
Uh, I don't think there's anything like that here. There's no first time or senior driver. It's just this. I think it's the same about the same price. What I
For
think is
everybody.
worth mentioning about the LTO here, DMV there, LTO here, Land Transportation Office, is the I gotta give it to them. If you have your driver's license and you don't have any violations, it's
Right.
easy to get your renewal. Just go to like they have like kiosks in malls. You
Yeah.
just go there, and if you don't have any fines, I think if you don't have to make any transactions
How long
or
how
pay
long
any
is
fines.
your how long before your driver's license expires and stuff?
That's another thing. So again, if you don't have any violations, you can get it at the mall fast. If you do have a violation, you have to go to their designated LTO offices where you have to make your
Right.
payments. And then when you have it renewed, which is what I did, uh, the last one that I had was 5 years, and then if you don't get any violations for those 5 years, you get 10 years.
Oh, that's good. It's about the same. It's about the same.
Oh, is
Yeah.
that new for you guys also? You guys get 10 years now?
Yeah. Mine's 10 years right now.
Okay. And then is there anything else that you wanted to, because I have a
No, not sorry, not 10 years, 5 years max. From
five
what
years
I've seen, at least. Yeah.
is the longest that you guys have. I have a
Mhm.
quick little story about uh going to Baguio, trying to process my driver's license there, to add like this motorcycle code so that I can, drive the motorcycle legally with
Right.
on my driver's license.
Right.
I had that processed in Baguio, and then by the time it was done, oh, I needed to, uh, yeah, I couldn't get the driver's license right away because something about their printer wasn't working. So I needed to wait a couple of weeks, a couple of months passed by, still didn't get it. Although it was already available, I just didn't go there and get it myself. Long story short, I went to Manila. I was already in Manila and tried to finish the process of that transaction in Manila, right? Because my
Right.
driver's license was uh, going to expire already. I
Right.
go to Manila figuring that, it's a whole digital nationwide system that I can continue my transaction there. They said, you have a transaction in Baguio, go back there, 250 kilometers away. Took us 2 days
Jesus.
to get back because my driver's license was expiring in like 4 days. So 2 days to get there, and then 2 days, another 2 days to get back. So yeah, so it was just in time for me to, and I say 2 days because I slept over at like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
we sleep in Pampanga or some or like uh, um, a hotel like that overnight because I really can't do the straight 9, 10, 11, 12 hours straight to anyway there just wanted to tell you that horror story about that
That sucks. That's a whole debacle right there. That really sucks.
but it was a chance for an adventure. So,
Um, one thing I wanted to talk about as well.
yeah, please.
Kyle Kulas Jenneran
Oh.
was granted and approved for Filipino citizenship.
And then was he
I'm just
applying?
saying.
Was he
Huh?
applying for it or it was just being given to him? I'm
No,
curious.
somebody. So from what I, because of who he is and how
Yeah.
he's
Yeah, yeah, of
been an
course.
ambassador of the Philippines and whatnot, I think
Right,
one
right.
of the Congress person applied for it for him.
Yeah.
You know,
But it
um,
it wasn't something that he was, striving for or asking for, right?
at first, from what it sounds like, it wasn't really that way. But eventually,
Mm,
as time went on, his heart was in the right place for it, right?
that's nice.
Right. Because a foreign national can't be a Filipino citizen, apparently. I didn't know that, you know?
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. That's why it has to go through a whole debacle and they had to go through Congress and all that stuff.
Mm.
Um, so it was approved. So the next step is for him to be actually sworn in as a citizen of the
And then
Philippines. Obviously, he's keeping his dual citizenship.
next thing you know, he's being required to pay taxes.
Well, ha!
So the BIR, Bureau of Internal Revenue here IRS
Right.
for you guys, has the reason to go after him, and
Probably. So
you
now that he's making money in the Philippines.
his YouTube channel is now
Uh-oh.
going. We'll see. I mean,
Whoa,
that's like
man.
the first thing that I'm thinking. If you are, yeah, Filipino citizen, you have the BIR has a reason to go after you.
I'd never thought of that, really.
Can they do? I don't think they can do that for foreigners, right?
I don't know because foreigners are not
Yeah,
allowed to own land in the Philippines as well.
right. But they know that he's making money off of YouTube
Well, obviously. I mean, everybody in the Philippines is trying to monetize it.
in this
That's the question
country,
though.
and you're
Are
a
they
foreigner,
trying to
right?
are they trying to go after everybody or what?
Yeah, they are. They
Wow.
are. Yeah. That was the reason I think why Uber got kicked out, if I'm not mistaken. Something
They
about
weren't paying taxes.
taxes, or I could be wrong, but that's what
Well,
I understand.
yeah, and again, ABS CBN closing down and whatnot was I think initially because of taxes as well. So
Okay, could be, but what the way I understand it, and maybe it's both. Something about their franchise not being renewed, and then it was. I think the franchise was had something to do with
franchise. What do you mean franchise?
administration. Yeah, there was like a 25-year something. I really don't know the details. That's just how I understand it. Something
You
to
mean
do
their
with
lease to the building?
both. There's some. Yeah.
Franchise is a whole different thing. I mean, I don't see ABS CBN as an actual franchise because it's a
No.
company.
No. 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 No.
It's not
Not
a franchise is like Starbucks,
No, no, no. Franchise
McDonald's.
is probably not the right word for it.
Right.
Just like let's just say license to operate.
Okay.
And they decided not to renew because there were some taxes that were not paid, I think. And I think there was something to do with the former government. I don't remember which one. Maybe I don't remember. And then the current administration or the one just before it also wasn't like in cahoots with they weren't they didn't want to continue. That's what I heard. I don't know.
Right. Right. I mean,
But they're
that's
still
a
operating
huge. How? I thought their business is closed.
on YouTube and there are other like outlets. It's just the broadcast I think that was cut off.
I see. So the actual studio has been closed.
I don't know, but there's still news. There's still ABS-CBN news coming out.
Hmm.
I think it's on YouTube.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
TV Patrol is on YouTube
Yeah, yeah.
too.
So
I
there's
just
still
saw it today. So
there's still like the wheels are still turning. It's just that it's probably on different outlets.
right, different platforms. Because
Yeah.
I know that a lot of their shows actually had on studio locations or filming. What I mean shows like their entertainment shows. Like
Oh, you mean like the soap operas?
yeah, no, not the soap operas. Like the
Noon noontime shows?
yeah, the noontime shows, the Sunday shows, the not eat bulaga.
That's GMA. That's a different
No, I know.
network. Yeah.
But my point is
Mm.
before like live studio audience type of thing.
Mm, mm, mm.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah. Did you
So
ever
maybe
follow?
now they don't have that anymore.
I'm thinking Bubble Gang. I don't know. I don't know if that's still on.
No idea who they are.
That's like
Bubble
a
Gang.
Bubble Gang is like the Saturday Night Live version here, I think. I
Oh, so it's
mean,
like improv and stuff.
yeah, totally different format.
Right.
But it's basically the number one or most popular yeah, comedy. You know what I'm not familiar with anymore is sitcoms. They have like sitcoms here also, but I'm not familiar with the ones that are popular.
I don't know. Honestly, the last time I was there, the sitcoms that I remember are Palibasa Lalaki.
That's what I was about to say, right?
Yeah, school book or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So is that what you meant about the studio type shows?
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
they film it on the studios. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
You know what's funny? I've been to the networks, ABS and GMA.
Yeah.
It, as a first timer that goes there, it's really strict security to get in and out. There's people walking around with IDs and everything, but it's always had that, both of them has always had that sort of college vibe to them. That like
Well, because there's a lot of like younger generations walking around.
yeah, but no, just the fact that it's like a compound, like three,
Right.
four, five
Right.
buildings sort of together, and then you have
Yeah.
to go to building 4 to get your tapes here, and then you have to go to this building to get. I just felt like I was in school. There was a time when I was the producing for Kapwa Ko Mahal Ko, so so I just had to I felt like I was enrolling for
Right.
biology class or something. Like, oh, you have to get the signature of the dean here and then get that one released here, and you're going to have lessons in that classroom. And yeah, it just felt like a college campus.
Right. Right. Speaking of campuses, so my dad actually graduated from UST in Philippines,
Oh,
Manila. Yeah.
oh,
That is one of the most beautiful buildings I have seen in my life. I kid you not.
one of the oldest, or if not the first universities, I think, in the Philippines. One of
I
the
don't
oldest
know.
or one of the first, yeah.
But apparently it's world recognized, UST is recognized here in the US as one of the, I guess, whatever education places in the Philippines and whatnot. But
Right.
it's so my dad went there, and that one time that we did when I was younger, I distinctly remember it's one of the most beautiful buildings I've ever seen. I don't know what it is. It has that classic
Right.
untouched, well preserved structure.
Right. Right.
The look of it is just pristine.
Can you imagine how thick that cement is, like, compared to the cement mix nowadays?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it look that thing stood the test of time in regards to what being bombarded back in the war or the earthquakes.
I remember, barena. You know what the barena is? It's
Uh-uh.
your drill, right? And so there's a cement bit, and then there's a wood for wood. They have anyway. So in our house here, it's just goes through like butter, like brrrr, right, like no problem. But there
Right.
are um cement blocks like that. Like I would imagine like UST if they try to put like put a nail on the wall to
No,
hang
it's
their
not even gonna
picture
go. No.
frame. It's not good.
Well, I remember when was that big earthquake in the Philippines? Was it 89? No, 89?
90,
89, I think.
90.
Was it 90? 90.
July 4:15 in the afternoon on July 16, 1990.
Okay. So I was in school, right?
Mm. I was in Baguio.
I was, oh, you were actually there.
Yeah.
My uncle was there too. He used to work at the Hyatt Casino at Baguio.
He didn't get hit,
No,
did
he
he?
got out.
He got out.
He was able to. When it happened, he was extremely lucky. From what I hear,
Uh,
from what they told me, he was actually doing his rounds at the hotel,
what
and
was
he
he?
was literally right by an exit. So
What
he
was
just ran out.
what was his rounds? What was he doing?
I can't remember. He was working somewhere in the food and beverage department in the casino, I think. I don't know. I
That's
can't remember.
interesting.
Yeah, but
That's
he just ran out because when he felt it, because he was right
mm,
by the exit, right before it went down, you know?
nice. He was
But
lucky. For those
yeah,
of you guys that don't know, the Hyatt, did you say Hyatt?
yeah. The
Yeah.
Hyatt Casino in Baguio.
The Hyatt Terraces in Baguio was the biggest, most number of casualties
Yeah,
in Baguio when the 1990 earthquake hit. So that
yeah.
was on July 16th for something in the afternoon. And I happened to be, guess where? Right smack on the staircase going down the city hall. Because
Wow.
my school is somewhere behind the city hall, St. Vincent of Holy Family
Wow.
School. So we
Yeah.
kind of pass there because sometimes I like to pass like different ways, just like even when I'm driving nowadays, like, okay, we pass this way because I'm like, we always pass that way. I'm always looking
Yeah, I know.
for a different route because I get so bored. Anyways, on that particular day, I remember, yeah, seeing the city hall swaying like that, and right, and
Yeah.
my auntie who's like outside the window, it's like, don't go inside the house. It's like I'm like,
Right.
why not? It's an earthquake. Like I wasn't taking it seriously because I was just seeing everything sort of, swinging back and forth. Like, oh, look,
Right.
the house is like a tree. It's swinging back and forth. I was
Right.
in
Right.
sixth grade. I didn't take it seriously. And then when I opened the news, which is the same thing with the EDSA revolution, I opened the news and I was like, wow, people are dead.
Right. Right.
But in my neighborhood, like the house is swinging like a tree.
Right.
So,
I was in class. I was attending my freshman year at Don Mariano Marcos High School. I remember that.
that's not near Cap Crame, is it?
No, it's near, you know where SM Mega Mall is?
Yeah. So that's
There's a
still
school right next to it. That used to be called Don Mariano High School. Don Mariano Don Mariano High School, whatever.
Pasig. Is Mega
No,
Mall
no, no.
Pasig?
No, no. It's further down. If you go
Oh,
to EDSA, you turn left on EDSA from my house.
oh, like not Balintawak or
I don't know. It's near Project 8.
what happened?
So I was in class. The earthquake happens, and my class was in the second floor.
Oh, you weren't
Right?
dismissed yet?
No, we were in class yet. Still, we were
What time
about
was
to. That was like
okay.
late in the afternoon. We were
o-
about to be dismissed.
Okay.
Um, well, back then the school sessions are split. There's a morning session and an afternoon session. I was
Oh,
in the afternoon session.
okay.
I was like, and you know those chairs where the arms, the table sticking out.
Mm,
That's what I was on, and I was sitting right next to the wall.
mm,
Things started shaking, and I kid you not, to my left, I
mm.
literally watched a crack crawl from the ground on the wall to go up. It
Oh,
was
wow.
just, I was just like watching it, like, and you're watching the crack crawl from the bottom to the top of the roof, and you're like,
Right.
I was like, what the? So obviously I got scared. I ran out the door, And from the second floor, there's like a balcony. I jumped off.
Oh shit.
Luckily, I didn't even know. Luckily, there was like a giant mountain of sand
Mm.
because I guess they were doing construction somewhere. And there was just a pile of sand right there, like a giant mountain.
Were you the
So
only one that jumped off, or like your
no, there was a lot of
classmates?
people. I saw people jumping off. That's why I just followed.
Oh wow.
You know, I was like, "What the fuck?"
That
And I
could have
just
been
jumped off. And luckily, it was maybe like a 5 foot drop because of
dangerous.
the sand. You know,
That's dangerous. Did the building actually collapse
no,
or
no, but the building was closed off for months because they had to fix a lot of things. There was a lot of cracks on the buildings and whatnot.
nobody got injured?
Not from my school, not that I know of. You know, I don't remember really, to be honest with you. But it took forever to. They didn't release us for like a couple of hours. I don't know why. I'm
Just
not
in
sure
school?
why.
Like you
Yeah,
weren't
from the
allowed to go
school.
home?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
One of
But
the biggest takeaways for me during that 1990 earthquake, aside from hearing the term falling like a house of cards for the first time,
yeah,
with the Hyatt terraces that sort of collapsed on itself and that kind of thing, because it was so much that all the floors, three, four, five floors, sort of crushed down on each other. Was
correct.
our There was a friend of a friend of my aunt had like a restaurant, and they opened like like a soup kitchen for the affected families.
Right, right.
That's where it kind of opened my mind, like, oh wow, you can do that. Like you can help people. Like I didn't like the whole concept of like people falling in line because we're helping them and they don't have anything to eat. I was like, I think 9 or 10 years old. That was it. Sort of opened my mind to the idea of maybe that was my idea of my eye-opening moment where I showed my kid that we could go fishing to get his dagger. Like
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can like find other ways and means to make things happen.
Right, right.
Like I didn't realize that you can take out like how you have customers paying for food, and like, oh, you can buy the ingredients, and then you can give it to people and not ask them to pay. I didn't realize you could do that. So naive, and
So nice. I was about to say that.
story of my life, right?
Right, right. Yeah, but yeah. Anyway, no,
Well,
the only reason I shared that experience about that watching the walls because we were talking about how brittle some of the buildings are in the Philippines.
yeah,
you know.
reminds me of the one in Turkey. Can you imagine the
Yeah,
whole country practically just collapse, like all their
yeah.
buildings and everything. It's like,
Well,
geez.
that basically happened in San Francisco. The big earthquake in 1989.
Yeah, but not like blocks and blocks and build, like
What are you
hundreds
talking
and
about? An entire area was demolished. Even the Bay Bridge, you know how there's double sides, the
yeah, yeah,
top and
yeah.
the bottom?
I remember
Squish.
that.
You know how many people lost their lives in the middle of that bridge?
Yeah, yeah, but was it as bad as it was? I mean, not maybe I don't know if I should
It was,
compare, but was it as bad as Turkey? Not, right?
I don't know. I really don't know. The thing with that though, why people are because Turkey is a much older city in comparison to like San Francisco. Is
Yeah.
it? I don't know. But
I saw a video on Vice recently about how they're constructed. It's basically soft foundation versus like
right.
all these layers of
Because how often does an earthquake happen in Turkey as opposed to San Francisco? You know?
true.
I mean, it can't be it doesn't happen as often. Oh shit. Speaking of earthquakes, an earthquake here in the East Coast is practically non-existent, right?
Okay. Yeah.
It rarely
No fault lines. Yeah.
yeah, there's none, you know. But in 2000 I'd like to say 2012 or 2013, maybe. There was
Mm.
actually an earthquake. I was in my office. Um, Granted, it wasn't strong. Maybe it was like 5 point something. You know what I mean? In regards to San Francisco, that's minuscule.
What was? Do you remember what was the magnitude in San Francisco? I remember Turkey's was like 7.8, something like
Yeah,
that, right?
no, San Francisco earthquake, I think it was like 8.1. Let me check.
Oh wow! If I
Yeah,
remember,
it was
I think
yeah,
the one in
1989.
I think the one in Baguio was also seven something, 7.1. I think.
Right, right.
Too lazy to
It was
Google it right
just
now.
7 point. No, see? Look at that. The one in San Francisco in 1989 was 6.9 magnitude.
Mm. So
Wow.
what?
That was
Wait,
big.
when was this thing that you're saying that
Yeah,
happened? Well,
in
there in the East
DC.
Coast. Oh,
Yeah, I think it was like 2012 or 13 maybe. And I think it
oh,
was like maybe a 5. I can't remember magnitude wise, but
mm,
in comparison to San Francisco standards, that was low. So
mm,
it started shaking, glass
mm,
shaking.
mm.
I just stood there like this instead of running out. I just stood to the bookshelf and just hold it up. I was like, okay, when is this gonna end?
You're
You
like
know?
somebody. You're like somebody crossing the street here in the Philippines, like in the on the crosswalk. Like,
Yeah.
excuse me, I'm crossing
Right.
here.
Exactly.
Like
But it
and
was
then there was
weird.
a that and then there was a time I was on the motorcycle. There was a lady that was going like that, and I was like, "Oh, the power of the pedestrian!" It's like, "Mom, high five!" Yeah, wait,
I
you
don't,
thought of bringing it up because you remembered the. Why'd you remember the earthquake all of a sudden?
I don't know. We're talking about the earthquake in DC, and then we're talking about the gravity of the earthquake. And I actually felt that earthquake here. I mean, we were talking about the earthquake in Turkey, and then whatever.
I
I don't know.
remember
For some reason, I just remembered it. Like, what the hell?
I was scuba diving once.
Right.
There was an earthquake. We were in the water. We were at depth. Um, and then we saw the reef like shaking like that.
Shake.
Yeah.
Really?
And but what's interesting about it is all of a sudden it's cloudy because it's like all of a sudden it just got so there's the reef, you're sort of on the side of a mountain, and
Yeah.
then like the cloud of dust, like about an inch.
Yeah.
No, not an inch, about a foot and a half of cloud of dust. Like it didn't like blow up like a mushroom cloud, right? Because
Right. Right. Right.
it's just there. It doesn't go up or anywhere because it just got shook. It didn't get
Yeah.
pushed get pushed
It's
out.
like what happens when you put a tea bag in tea, and then
Yeah. Yeah. Or like just like a dusty cabinet.
right. Right.
Like you shake a dusty cabinet. It's kind of like that. So we were like looking at each other. It was like, is that an earthquake? We were like, okay, let's see if there's going to be a tsunami kind of thing. But yeah, and sort of nothing happened. But
Right.
yeah, we were in the waters. And then when we got back to the resort, did you guys feel that? And yeah, it wasn't strong. Maybe a one, two, or three or
Right.
less. But
That's not bad.
it's a strange thing to see. Like you're in the ocean, it's clear water, and then all of a sudden the reef is sort of
Shaking.
shaking, but like it's like somebody like shook, yeah, a dirty cabinet, and like, yeah, strange.
Yeah. Yeah. Anywho, um,
I miss scuba diving. It's been a long time.
when was the last time?
Way before the pandemic, a couple of years before the pandemic.
Yeah.
When my
Yeah.
kid was born, I still had a chance to do a couple of dives, but just back in my other life when I was still making money. Now,
Back when things were still okay.
back way before, but yeah. So
Why not? Well, you know what? We'll talk about that on the next episode.
What?
Like, do you ever think about maybe going back
To where?
to that life to be able to like, teach scuba dive and all that stuff? I mean, you're still certified, right?
Yeah. Yeah. There's like a school for it if you want to teach. You gotta pay. So there's that. Um,
What do you mean? You got to pay to work for a school to teach?
yeah, you gotta pay for the license. It's expensive.
Ah,
Yeah. Yeah. I have the not the credentials, but the experience, and yeah, I could. But you know, that's another story. But it's one of those things where, or maybe I'm making excuses for myself, and I'm not really that interested. But it's just like I don't want to like be looking for students all the time. I'm happy to teach and share if someone's interested, but I just don't want to get into that headspace where it's like, okay, who's my next student? Like
I got it.
how
I
am I
got it.
going to get the because it's a different outfit if let's say you're in the beach, you're living in the beach, maybe Boracay or Cebu or something, and you just stand
Mhm,
there and
mhm.
you just stand there and people are coming to you asking for lessons. So I need to relocate is basically what I'm saying. But
Got it.
if I'm living here in Manila, and there are scuba diving instructors based in Manila, you got to have a market. You have to have like a student base somehow, like I don't know, like you know, maybe work in a church or some office or something, and then people know that you're a scuba diving
Right.
instructor, and
Right.
you
Right.
can ask them for lessons. You can offer lessons or something like that. But if you are an island on your own, which I tend to be, I don't, I don't really have that network to be making friends all the time.
Right. Right.
Right? Like right now, you're my only friend.
Oh, oh,
Take
oh,
out the
so
clean.
sad.
Take out the Kleenex. It's another crying episode.
Shut up.
I don't have a tissue, but I have buko pie from Jollibee.
Local pie. Oh, that sounds good.
Oh no, this is
I've never had that. So
peach mango pie. You don't have buko pie in Jollibee? You've never tried?
no, it's only peach mango pie. I told you that.
Now you're missing out.
See, you can't be doing that shit, dude. I mean, now I want some. I don't want to drive an hour and a half just to get it. Well, I don't think they have it
No,
even that. I know they only have mango peach pie.
yeah, that's what you said. Peach mango pie. You don't have your Jollibee doesn't have buko pie.
No,
You
I'm
should be
telling you,
ashamed
no.
of yourself. That Jollibee that's situated there should be ashamed of itself.
It should be closed down. We should boycott it until they serve. Oh, oh.
How do you call yourself a Jollibee if without any buko pie? No, it's amazing how they make it. I don't know how it's done, but
Right.
it's world class.
I'm
So
gonna have to
yeah,
try that one.
I'm
All
lucky
right.
to be I'm lucky to be living in a country where the buko pie is abundant.
Well, there
Yeah.
is an abundant supply of buko.
Oh, that's
There's not a
true.
whole lot of that here. So I'm just saying.
I
You're not gonna find a coconut tree in Virginia.
it's
Nowhere close to it.
bro, it's funny that you bring that up because it's so easy to take it for granted.
Yeah, I know. Which everybody does here all the time.
Whew. I'm glad we didn't have to whip out the Kleenex in this episode this time.
Yes. Well,
We survived without one. we, we we survived without.
we'll try not to get to it. That's a
Well,
good time or a good place to end it. It's
yeah,
another episode down the till. We talked about earthquakes here, earthquakes there, talked about earthquakes underwater, in the mountains.
my
We
inaanak.
also talked about fencing with the inaanak, driving with the son.
Yeah.
What else did we talk about?
All before we got rudely interrupted. I was thinking, why don't we just let's not do extras anymore? What if we just like end it
Cut it off?
where cut it off where if we get cut off, well, sorry, that's it. We ran out of time.
I don't want to do that. You gotta you gotta have an opening and an ending. Para
You know,
siyang open-ended eh, you
oh,
know.
look like, oh, wait, 2 more minutes. I gotta tell you something, and then it just cuts. That's the show with Jason and Noel. I got one more story to say. That's the show for
This is true. Oh, too
today's
bad.
episode. Yeah, how
Well-
do we wrap it up? We've been doing this 19, 20 times already, and we still haven't figured out how to
Here's how we're gonna close this. Okay, I'm gonna tell you this right now.
Okay.
But unfortunately, we're out of time. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna talk about it on the next episode of the Flip Side with Jay and Noel. I'm Jay,
My name's Noel.
and we'll catch you later.
That
Meow.
joke just went over my head like
Jesus Christ. Anyway, all right, guys. We'll talk to you later. Two guys, two worlds. This is the Flip Side. New episodes uploaded on YouTube, Facebook, and Spotify every week on Wednesday and Saturday.